So I might have got chat to help me do this. Hey everyone, I know most of you now, Mary, yeah, I don't do anything exciting. No, we have an AI transformation company that goes in and helps organizations lean into Gen AI and AI. So not the machine learning side, the ChatGPT, Copilot and Gemini side. That is what is being used most. And actually, does anyone here use Gemini? Yeah, so Gemini is starting to get better, and I think we'll see it coming through much more strongly. So I might have spoken to Chad about this because I'm a 1% user of Notion. I am being infected and learning to do more and more and more. It is like a growing infection, and I see that it can get everywhere and do everything. So it's just what Pfizer has said and what everyone said. It is not just for note taking. And actually, the biggest takeaway, I can talk for 5 minutes, but the biggest takeaway I would say to you is to use it with AI. So to use it with the inbuilt AI or use ChatGPT externally, because it knows everything about Notion. So what we're often really bad at doing is trying to figure out stuff on our own. And actually, we no longer need to do that. So you do need to ask the right questions so you know what you're building and the result that you want. But the rest of it, you've got assistance everywhere in Notion and outside of Notion that will help you build it. So you don't need to take time on the structure. You can take time on the imagining. And that's what you need to do. So get really clear about what you want to build on Notion. What is the result that you want? And work backwards from there. Because otherwise you can build a very pretty tower or a tower that falls over really easily and doesn't do what you want it to do. So probably that would be where I would start. I'm trying to remember what I did now. So it can be a one-stop shop. You can use it for everything. We love using it for our workshops because there's one source of truth. We can update it in one place and all of the assets connect through that. So we know we're giving people a good experience. Because I don't know if anyone's like this, but we've tried some platforms in the past and you'll build it up. So we tried Mighty Networks because we had a community and we built it all up and it looks like it would be good, but it didn't actually tick all of our boxes. And the problem that we had is that when we switched to another platform, we've lost all of the work that we've done. It couldn't grow with us and we're stuck in a really rigid structure. So this is not that. Notion is not that. It forms to you, not the other way around. And I think it forms to you. Yeah, so you're not a square peg in a round hole. It will meet you wherever you are and do far more than you realize. So, and I think that's the thing. So Ivan and, Pfizer and everyone else is not actually fully aware of what Notion is capable of yet. That's what we figure out. So if I use a chat analogy, before when they did model 3.5 or whatever it was, at that stage, they said it'll be 10 years if we did nothing more to the model before we understood fully what it was capable of. And Notion will be exactly the same. If they did no further development, it would be a decade before all of us inventive, curious humans figured out the edges of what actually it's capable of. So you can totally go on your own adventure. And it will continue to grow with you. And that's what I kind of love about it. So you guys, this is all kind of boring stuff. I did a more interesting one for this time. I went to chat and was like, okay, so what's the more, what's the questions that people don't think of and don't think of about using Notion for? So that's what I kind of, I came up with some what I thought was, so the kill list was on there because we're often really good at gathering the wins. We're not good at experimenting and looking at what went wrong. So actually having a database of what went wrong and the experiments that failed is really valuable in an organization. And kind of bakes in that it's safe to fail in your culture as well. So I really like that. And there was a few others that it came up with. So I was like, no, don't give me the boring stuff. So structured agendas, task assignments. And I love that actually, that you can tag people in. You were talking about reminders, that it will go into your calendar. And somebody was like, I don't know how to do that. Ask AI. It knows how to do that. It will do click by click, step by step. And you can say, my screen doesn't look like this. And I'll say, oh, sorry, I'm working off a blah, blah, blah. And it will fix it for you or take a screenshot. So the only reason I'm not more of a Notion expert is that I just haven't given it the 5 minutes that it needs, because when you're working at speed, it's that take 2 steps back to take 10 steps forwards. And I've taken 1 step back. I need to take a few more and to build the infrastructure. Okay, so we do use it as a client management tool. We've got our sales pipeline in there. We use it as our CRM. And we're building that to be more functional, so that we're building in some automations. So we've tried CRMs, and they'll always, what I've found anyway, is that it's great at this thing, but not great at that thing. And we want it to track our clients, but we want it to also onboard. So the onboarding experience for clients is great, so it turns into a project. And most CRMs won't do that. HubSpot will do that, but you have to pay $800 a month, I think. And I'm like, no, I'd rather build it in Notion. Thank you very much. And then I own the data, and nobody can take it from me. It doesn't belong anywhere else. I can play with it however I want, and Notion will give it to me in the way that I want it to. And I can change that at any time. I can be like, oh, that doesn't work. And so I can change it. And there is no other system out there that will do that, that will grow with you without costing you arms and legs. So I love that. I love that it levels the playing field for small businesses as well. It puts all of this power in our hands, when usually it's the big fancy tools that the enterprise and everyone else has. But actually we have got all this in our pocket, and we can do it better than they can, actually, because they're stuck with the bloat, with all the additional features that you don't have. It's not intuitive. It's a nightmare. And that doesn't exist here. It's totally molding around you. So I love the calendar, and that, so I live in the AI world. So I use chat a lot, and then chat will tell me to go and use Notion, and it will say, do this and put this there and do that. So so the only downside with that is that I still need to make friends with the platform itself, rather than using it like a tube map. So I don't know if any of you find that, but in London, I know how to navigate by tube. Put me above ground, and I don't know how this one connects to that one, but I can go on a tube and get anywhere. I don't understand the geography. So that's, you just need to be aware, if you're using chat, you can end up like the tube map. You don't understand the geography, you understand this bit and this bit. So it's still important to understand the geography. Right. So this is what you've just been talking about, actually. Maybe I was on it. So I love using it for personal as well. I haven't used it for crochet. I have used chat for knitting, though, for adapting a pattern. But yeah, I kind of chuck everything in Notion, and I'm getting better at chucking everything in Notion. I find it works it's a great partner with large language models. They kind of work together quite seamlessly. Right. So Pfizer, you were saying that you use it to track events, so that you've got your personal. Yep. The other thing sometimes that I'll use it for is like branding. You'll see a really nice website, or you'll think somebody's logo is really nice. So I kind of create a bit of a mood board, so that when I'm looking for inspiration, I can go back to it, and all the disparate things that I've collected everywhere, waiting. It's like my future self has given me, or no, my past self has given me a present. So I often think that what would my future self like me to do? So I often will be like, okay, my future self will really appreciate it. And it's so funny. I'll be like, oh, thank you, past self. You really, thanks. You really did me a solid when I can find something, because it's not the gathering of data. It's remembering you've got it and being able to find it again. Because otherwise it's pointless. So I will often I used to have things in lots of different places. Now there's one source of truth that I can go to. And if it's not there and I look for it, then I put it there. So you should always put things in the first place you look to find them. So if and that's really good if you suffer from domestic blindness at home. The first place you look, if it's not there, put it there, because that's how you're going to find it again. So this is where I find everything, and if it's not there, it goes there. Right, that is it. There you go. I think short and sweet, and I'll just see if there's anything else that I missed. No, I won't do the other one, but I will just see what else I thought was a cool idea. Let's have a look. Come on. Oh, I'm not connected to the internet. You'll just have to wait. There you go. But yeah, so enjoy it. And it's lovely to have you here. And really, I can take my mic off now. I can when you can. Oh, no. Questions?
Yes, please. You said about, I become a tube user and I don't understand the job. Can you expand a little bit on what you do there?
Yeah, so when I'm traveling around London, I can get around really easily on tube, but if I'm walking, I have to use maps because I don't know how to get between places. So one of the things that can happen if you're using chat a lot or AI a lot with Notion is that it solves a problem for you. So you then have a top level understanding. You don't understand how everything connects behind the scenes. So if you're using it as a quick fix, it can mean that you don't actually understand totally the Notion platform and everything that's going on underneath it. So you just know the top level. You're not understanding how things connect below the scenes because you're doing short.
It's more like you're getting chauffeured around.
Well, it's more like you're using chat to do a shortcut. So you're not. You know how to do the behavior to get the result you want, but you don't understand how you're getting that result. Yes.
I just know it. I don't know how we got.
Yeah.
I know this is the number. But they want you to demonstrate that, the learning of how to use it.
Yeah, so it's all, it's that balance, isn't it? With, yes, taking shortcuts and saving time, at the same time making sure you understand how things connect and how the base platform works. Because that's how we learn subconsciously and consciously.
So if I now have a pathway for this is how I do the shortcuts, AI, ask the chat, what is the process that would support me understanding that deeper level?
Yeah, so it's just to make sure that you're not just doing 100% shortcuts, that you're not actually understanding the fundamental connection. So it would be like making a beautiful, I'm trying to think of a better analogy really. I was thinking of the Lego analogy. Like if someone just hands you a model that's fully built, you didn't get any of the satisfaction or knowledge of how to build a Lego model. You've just got a beautiful Lego model. So it's the balance between the two things. It's the balance between understanding how you would build that Lego model.
I guess think of AI. I think sometimes forget that AI isn't just Google. Like it's not just get an answer, like there's a conversation to it and you can ask how did you come to that and engage in that back in the way that we would if we were collectively learning something. The thing that's great about collective learning is like, oh, how did you actually get that? And then that explanation. And I think oftentimes we don't use AI that way. You just use it for answers, then just take the answers and run. Which is often why it's quite easy to put the wrong answer out there because you haven't actually investigated to see if it's right in the first place.
So I think it's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. So, it's knowing, but then understanding. And you need to make sure you're not using AI so much that you lose the understanding.
So you say how? And then you go, how did you come to that?
Yeah. Cool. Anyone else?
Apparently, Notion uses a combination of chat and also Claude. Yeah. Anthropic's Claude.
It probably, most models that use AI will have all of the models or all of the models that they've got agreements with plugged in on the back end. So most of them will have chat. Some of them will have Claude. They'll have Mistral. There's loads of them. If you look in the back end of some of the models, you'll see loads of AI models that you didn't even know existed that they've just got plugged in at the back end and they're using for different things.
And how is it deciding which to use?
Some very clever engineer, developer, project manager has mapped it all out somewhere.
Well,
yeah, stuff. Yeah.
Lots of companies tend to either absorb other smaller AI companies or partner with them.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so there's lots, and they'll have very complex algorithms behind the scenes that, like, they pull on this one for that and that one for that, and then the AI models can even talk to each other, and it can be like, no, you're the best one for that one. So yeah, so there's a lot of very, very, very clever stuff that I don't need to know about that goes on behind the scenes, as long as you fact check.
That was I put some information I need to revert for a short one, and when it said to me, "That's not verified," I was like, "That's not chat. This chat would not do that to me."
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's probably one of the other models that I worked with.
Yeah.
Saying, "Hey, careful."
So that might be Claude. So Claude is widely regarded as the most ethical model out there. They've intentionally decided not to connect to the internet, so it can't kind of be corrupted. So that could be Claude. Claude would often show up like that.
Yeah, I saw a lot.
Yeah.
Is this place full of ghosts then? It was like a happy child on the shoulder saying, "You're on."
Yeah.
Right.
I have no idea, but yes, it's a very strange world. Any other questions, anyone? No? That's great. Thank you, St. John.
In your work, are you constantly now using? I mean, you use AI anyway, but are you constantly using the AI within Notion?
Yes.
You are, right.
Yeah, I use Notion and use chat outside of it. I find it useful. It's like I have like a board of directors. So, chat can be my CFO, my CMO, and I can have a board meeting if I want to in the morning just to help me plan my day, and then go forward that way. So a lot of entrepreneurs, you'll hear them talking about their board, and they'll have an AI board.
So you've been able to fire Gareth.
Don't tell him. I haven't talked about the redundancy agreement yet. That's my husband, who we ran the company together. This isn't recorded, is it, Cameron? We couldn't do anything with that, Gareth. I wouldn't be here without him. It was him that actually pivoted the business initially. So yes, Gareth, if you're listening to this, you are a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can stay.
Yeah. Ignore what St. John said.
Always.
So yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.